Hello, everybody. How you doing? Oh, that is not supposed to be. That's not supposed to be on the screen. Let me see if I can get rid of that. Um, yeah. Here we go. How you doing today? I'm doing a bit better. My left elbow is still injured, but it's a little bit better. I'm actually going to rush off right after this live stream to see a specialist for the second time. I got an MRI on Friday. Most likely busted some ligaments in there, which shouldn't get too much in the way of piano playing, but is pretty annoying, I must say. I want to say hi to Frank Geyer from Connecticut. Tommy Wilson says Manhattan snow still not melting. Isa Renardi in Brussels, who says she hopes she'll get a recovery certificate from the arm department today. Not quite. Silvana Raffo, who says I'm positive to COVID, but already no symptoms, and those I had were very light thanks to vaccine. And friends and relatives are all okay, so enjoying some isolation with books, games, and of course, Tepfer art. Man, well, I'm glad you're okay, Silvano. That's great, and thank goodness for those vaccines. Hi to Grace Chu, who says, happy Dan anniversary. It's been 2 years since meeting Dan at his Ottawa Winter Jazz Fest Natural Machines performance and workshop. Wow. So that was right before COVID hit in 2020. Wild. Different life, isn't it? Hi to Carol McGoffin in Underhill, Vermont, where it's 23 degrees. Danielle Prolong in Switzerland. Sanda Ionica in Romania. Hi, Sanda. Molly Shen, Joyce Glasgow. Julie Barbier, who's in Paris, returning from the Canary Islands, which is pretty amazing. Jen DeTour, Alan in Napa, Chris Breitner, Teresa Sewell, David Shine, Penny Lane. Hi, Penny. Penny's an incredible documentary filmmaker, who's become my friend over the last few months. You should see her film about Kenny G called Listening to Kenny G. It is so brilliant because she takes the, Kenny G is this smooth jazz saxophonist, and she takes this as an opportunity to investigate the idea of artistic taste. Why do certain people like certain things and other people like other things? And Kenny G is so divisive that he's a really great subject for that, and it's a really brilliant documentary. I recommend seeing it. I think it's on, I can't remember, is it on HBO? I saw it way before it was on the streaming services, so I'm not sure. Anyway, easy to find. Listening to Kenny G, it's called. Hi to Jonathan Glass, Sally Spritz, Patricia Wilkins, Anik Lafarge, it's in Hudson Valley, Alex Turner, the shores of the Great Salt Lake. Amazing. Okay, so today I wanted to resurrect some old projects of mine because I want to do things that have less to do with playing a lot of piano and more to do with other things. So the first thing I wanted to do is, what is the first thing I want to do? Yes, a thing that I promised last week, which is to play the Trappist-1 System. Some of you will recall that the Trappist-1 System is a planetary system that was discovered, I don't know how many years ago, not that long ago. But it was discovered, and the really amazing thing about it is that it consists of planets that are in incredibly harmonious relationships to each other. So, and hi to Chris Ruff. Oh, and while I'm explaining the Trappist-1 System, I want to say also thank you to my supporters on Patreon, who are going to be hopefully scrolling by soon. Let's try this once more. There we go. So the Trappist-1 system is an orbital system that actually exists. It's about 60 light years from here, I believe. And it's a system of planets that are orbiting around a star that's called Trappist-1 because when they discovered it, when the astronomers discovered it, they happened to be drinking beer. And the remarkable thing about this planetary system is that the planets orbiting around the star are in extremely harmonious orbital relationships to each other. And what that means is that instead of, say one planet going around in, the equivalent of 10 days, shall we say, and another planet going around in the equivalent of 21.662 days, where those numbers are not related really, these orbital periods are related mostly by whole numbers. So what that means is in this case, the closest planet to Trappist-1 goes around in 2 units, shall we say, for this orbital system. I don't know how it corresponds exactly to Earth days, but anyway, let's say it's 100 days. So the closest planet goes around in 2 times those units. The second closest goes around in 3 times, then 4 times, then 6 times, then 9 times, then 15 times, then 24 times. Okay, so the furthest planet from the star takes 24 times, well, it actually takes 12 times as long to go around the star as the closest planet to the star. And these relationships are almost exactly these whole numbers, which is very unusual. For example, in the solar system, in our solar system, the relationships between the planets are not these whole numbers. And the reason that they're so harmonious, we say harmonious because when it's whole numbers, things sound good together. The reason it's so harmonious around Trappist-1 is that these planets are so close to each other that they're constantly tugging on each other as they pass each other. And over millions of years, this leads systems to settle into what we call these resonant relationships. So Trappist-1 is very special, and I'm going to play the planets for you. So we're going to be both listening to the pitches of these planets. And when I mean pitches, I really mean the relationship between the frequencies. And by frequency, I mean the orbital period. So we're going to be listening to the pitches of the planets, and I'm also going to be playing the rhythm of these planets, as in if you have one that goes around twice in this orbital period, and another goes 3 times, then the rhythmic relationships between them is going to be 2 to 3. So that's like ding, da, boom, bam, do, ba, boom, boom. Okay? Does that all make sense? If you have any questions, please ask. But in the meantime, let's listen to the Trappist-1 system. Okay? I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to make some adjustments here because we're not getting the graphics that we need. So, hold on one second. Thanks for your patience. This is what happens when I try to do a lot of new things at once on these streams. Okay, is this going to work? Let's see. I think this is going to work now. Okay. It's not working. Okay. I am sorry. Hold on a second, you guys. I promise you this will be worth it. There's a lot going on here. Why is this not working? Okay, you know what? We're going to do this without visualizations today. Okay? It's too bad because I spent quite a bit of time setting it up for this. But what happened is this morning I have this little screen that I use for this computer and it died. The screen died. So here we go. Trappist-1 System without visualizations. Maybe it's better this way anyway. Well, there you go. That was some some Trappist-1 orbits. And again, I wish I could have shown you the images I made today, but we'll have to do that another week. Anik Lafarge says, this is reminding me of a fascinating book I learned about from Dan's review in the Times, Stefan Alexander's The Jazz of Physics. One of my favorite parts of this book is about black holes. Alexander says scientists discovered black holes have a sonic quality, and that one in the galaxy of the Perseus cluster was identified as a B-flat 50 octaves below middle C on a piano. Yeah, all right, Anik, we should talk about that book sometime. So another one that I wanted to do for you guys today is my algorithm from Natural Machines Triad Sculpture. The only problem with that is I don't think that's going to be a lot of fun if we can't see the visuals. So another one, we'll see if I have some ideas in the meantime about how to fix it. But for now, let's try something I developed a while ago and that I haven't gotten out in a very long time. The concept for this is to have a harmonizer, a really smart harmonizer where I can just like sing or play the sax or whatever, just improvise, and it'll find beautiful chords to play with me. Okay, so let's try this. The hardest thing about developing this algorithm was doing some relatively okay pitch tracking, because to make this work, the computer needs to know what note I'm singing. So let's try this. All right, that's an experiment, you guys. Thanks for bearing with me on that. Frank Geyer says, why red? Was it intentional or did algorithms choose a color? What does blue sound like? This was intentional, and the reason for it is just that I like the way it looked. I think red is a beautiful color, and yeah, just felt right. But what does blue sound like? I mean, you know, that depends if you have synesthesia or not. In my case, I actually don't have synesthesia, so I'm just kind of picking things because I think they look nice. I thought that red looked nice with the general palette, the color palette of this room. Molly Shen says, can you explain again how the program works, Dan? Okay, so this idea brings together a couple things. On the first of all, I wrote an algorithm years ago that will take a chord and then move to another chord. And it'll do that according to a whole bunch of rules of counterpoint. So it's going to try to make movements that really sound good. Like the voices are going to move in ways that sound pleasant and that make sense. In this case, I can actually choose what kinds of chords we use. So, for example, that was all triads, but we could use totally different sounds. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have them right here, but actually, maybe I'll just make up a quick one. So, just 0, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, so this is going to be with an interval set that's 0, 2, 3, 4, 6. And you'll immediately hear the difference. This will be really different sounding. Let's see. That'll be for next week. But anyway, the point is, it brings together this idea of voice leading through harmonies, and this pitch tracker that actually detects in real time what note I'm singing, and then it'll use that note to make sure that the next chord includes that note. And I can decide, I push this piano pedal while I'm singing, I decide to send that note to the harmonizer and say, harmonize this note. So that's what's going on there. Grace Chu says, the red filament to 3D print my red Triad Sculpture earrings. Yeah, there's a kinship there, I think. Danielle Prolong says, making the very best of your current limitation today, Dan, from restrictions to creativity. Yes, that's the idea. Joyce Glasgow says, red ribbons, red streams, red water flowing, a red ticker tape, a mountain range silhouette, a flat line, statistical predictions, peaks and valleys. And Todd Reynolds, who's a very interesting, was really great new music violinist, who also is an amazing improviser. He says, this following algorithm is rad, Dan. The graphics in addition, amazing. Thanks a lot, Todd. A work in progress for sure. Okay, let's do another work in progress. This is going to be a very special kind of looper. So the idea with this is that I can play a melody, and then that melody will displace along the keyboard. Check this out. Another experiment for you. So that's kind of fun because it's really a different way of approaching looping, right? It's like instead of keeping a loop in the same place, it's like each loop is a little animal that keeps moving around. So for example, if I go like that, then the next loop is going to start from the E. But that's if I've set it to fit into a mode, and that's something that I've been experimenting with too. It's like fitting these melodies into modes instead of just having them be chromatic. You might have noticed it started really, really dissonant, and then it became much more consonant because I started fitting it into modes. Frank Geyer says, the music goes round and round. And Danielle Prolong says, sonic and visual fireworks. I'm going to have to leave relatively soon, but I want to show you a couple more things. I've resolved my graphics issues, so I'm going to do Triad Sculpture for you. And the reason I want to do Triad Sculpture is that I haven't done it in a long time because when I do Triad Sculpture, I need to bring up sound from the computer, right? And this is something a little bit complicated to do properly. And I've finally, this week, set it up properly. And you should now get some very nice sound from the triads. So just to remind you guys, this is an algorithm where when I play harmonies in my left hand, my computer immediately turns them into visuals, okay? So it'll give you a visual representation of the harmonic ratios between the frequencies of the harmony. But it also creates sound. It creates sound for the harmony as if it were in just intonation. It's like too much to explain right now. I'm just going to play for you guys. Here we go. All right, there you have it. Triad Sculpture. Life is Music asks, so interested in what you started to explain. We are definitely here for those nuggets. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And okay, so harmonies. Pythagoras discovered that harmonies sound good together when the ratios between the harmonies, when the ratios between the frequencies of the tones involved are whole numbers. Okay, so for example, if you've got an octave, that's a ratio of 1 to 2. And the time that this C, that the frequency vibrates once, that the sound wave vibrates once, I should say, this C in that same time vibrates twice. Okay, so an octave is 1 to 2. Perfect fifth, another sound that we can all agree is harmonious. Those notes belong together. The time that that lower note vibrates twice, the upper note vibrates 3 times. And as I've pointed out before on these streams, that's equivalent to this rhythm, right? 2 to 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? And major third, that's 5 to 4. And the time the bottom note vibrates 4 times, up one vibrates 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, minor third, that's 6 to 5. In the time, the bottom one vibrates 5 times, up one vibrates 6 times. So Chris Breitner says C 256 hertz and then versus C 512 hertz. Yeah, twice as much. So that 6 to 5 is a dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. That's a tough one, 5 to 6, but I just did it. Okay, so that's what I'm representing in these shapes. Is I'm mapping these relationships on the three spatial dimensions, X, Y, Z. And of course, I'm using harmonies of 3 sounds. Right now, I was talking about dyads, so sounds, harmonies of 2 sounds. But when I'm making those 3-dimensional shapes, those are harmonies of 3 sounds, triads. Mary Keller says, wow, that sounded like you sneak castanets on your fingers. Thank you very much. So I hope that answers your questions. At some point, I actually intend to do this soon. I want to make a video really explaining all these ideas behind triad sculpture. By the way, I've also made 3D printed triad sculptures. I happen to have them here. This is a major triad. Same shapes you were just seeing in the video. And this is a minor triad. And I also have diminished and augmented triads, which are increasingly dense. So these are actually available. If you go to dantepfer.com/merch, you can get your own if you'd like some. dantepfer.com/merch. Okay, it's time to end the stream because I got to rush to the doctor for my elbow. But since I got the graphics working again, I want to finish with another Trappist-1 with the graphics because I spent some time getting that working this week. So you're actually going to see the planets orbiting around the star in the exact relationships that we just discussed: 2 to 3 to 4 to 6 to 9 to 15 to 24. All right. There you have it. Trappist-1 System with the graphics. Isn't it satisfying when all those planets come around together? I really love that. They're like, oh, it all looks very disorderly, and suddenly, bam, they're all lined up. Danielle Prolong says, thank you so much, Dan. Hoping the doc visit will be helpful and your arm will improve soon. Have a great week, friends. I am confident it should improve. I think it's just going to take a while. Fortunately, my next big gig is February 13th in San Francisco with Miguel Zenon. Hopefully, I'll be okay by then. It's 2 weeks from now. Joyce Glasgow says, spinning without end, the orbs draw us deeper into space-time travel, like a streetcar we can get on and off of as we come upon places that interest us, going from past to future in a single ride. Pat ML1990 says, very cool. Molly Shen says, great stuff. Mike Seitz says hello. Greetings to you all. Hope you're staying healthy, healthier than I am. I wanted to say another thanks to my supporters on Patreon. And I will see you next week. Next week, I'll have a guest. Leaf asked, why can't I see those comments? Because they are on Facebook. I'm streaming. These streams go out simultaneously to Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to see the comments on Facebook, you can check out this stream on Facebook. It's on my Facebook page. Yeah. See you next week. Take care, y'all. Bye.